Welcome back, guys. So in this video, as part of the or the continuation of the previous one, we are continuing our installation process. So like you can see, we have the first dialog box, and tell you the truth, Microsoft made the installation process very simple. Like you just need to select a couple of options, and then it will install all the binary files, and then later on you can configure your server based on your needs. So I think language to install, we are pretty good. Time and currency. Obviously, I'm residing in Australia, so what I'm going to do, I think that I can leave it as default. Yes, and then I will change it once the operating system. I'm only concerned about the time and obviously the currency. Anyway, let me see if I can select it from here. So if I go to English Australia, hopefully I can find it somewhere. Yeah, that's towards the Asia. So somewhere in here. So New Zealand in here. I think it must be up somewhere. So yeah, there's a pain. Like we need to scroll a little bit. There we go. So we are going to select English Australia. Keyboard is fine. And I'm going to click next. So you can see the very next option is install, which is going to start the setup and installing the binary. So there are two parts of the installation. In one part, we are going to install the binaries of the operating system, which obviously lay down the operating system, so we can use it for our purposes. And then the second part is to configure or customize the operating system based on our need. Because obviously, let me give you the analogy that if we are configuring our server for the web interface or web purposes, the configuration is going to be different compared to if we are building it as a database server. So you can understand the initial first phase is similar, or first stage is similar on both sides. Like we need to lay down the binaries, but the next side where we come towards the configuration, that really depends upon what kind of purpose that you are targeting for your server, right? So coming in here, so what I'm going to do, if I just select the Windows Server 22 Standard Edition, it will give you the command line interface without the graphical user interface, which is very handy and very secure, because obviously then we need to connect it through the command line, and a lot of options are not going to be available as part of the GUI interface, which obviously put our machine more secure and have less chance to expose to any other environment which are not supposed to access our server, right? But obviously we also have the desktop version available, which we normally use for our dev and test purposes. I'm going to leave the debate that we should use the GUI free version or GUI based version in the production. I've seen both in the industry, so that I will leave it for our network chats, so they can decide, and because they are in a better position. We have the data center version available as well as part of the evaluation. There's only a difference in terms of feature, which we are going to discuss in the separate video if we need to, but in this one I think we are good to start with this standard evaluation, right? So let me select it, and you can see it is the evaluation. So keep in mind, after 180 days it's going to be expired until unless you activate it through a legitimate key. So if you have the Microsoft subscription, you can get the key and you can apply on your virtual machine, and then you can use it for unlimited, right? Because then, but keep in mind, you are still unable to use it for any business or professional purposes until unless you bought it from the Microsoft, right? Because that's the license agreement that you have to oblige as part of the compliance. All right, click next. Yeah, I'm happy to accept the agreement without reading because I don't have any choice. Click next. what I'm going to do, I'm just going to, so I'm not going to upgrade my existing operating system because my virtual machine is blank. But now you can see we can upgrade our existing operating system to 2022 version. So the same exercise we can do with the older version of the Windows operating system. So for example, if we have, for example, Windows Server 2016, our virtual environment, and we just want to see the experience if we go and try to do it in our dev or test environment in our organization, how it's going to actually look like. So you can run as a POC or as a as an exercise in your own local computer first to just find out the issue. And once you are comfortable, you can start with the either with the POC or with the dev environment, right? And based on that, we just gradually move towards the upper environment. So I'm not going to upgrade because I don't have any existing operating system on this virtual machine. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to select custom. I'm not going to split the disk or change the disk structure. I just keep one drive on my guest operating system, because most of the work which we are going to do are not going to give us a major issue. And if we face any issue, I would switch towards the Azure and then show you over there, because obviously there are certain scenario where the disk partitions and where should each file reside, especially from the database perspective, that play a very critical role. But because right now we are just setting up a small environment which provide us the capability to run the data and analytics load, one single drive is enough. But obviously, as a next step, once we need more, we need a I would say bit complex or more realistic environment, we'll spin it up in the Azure environment, because over there that's easy, and I would say that's more efficient and easy to understand and use from the professional perspective. So I'm not going to touch it. I'm just keep it selected and click next. And now it has started copying the file. You can see the copying is quite fast. Now it's getting the files ready for the installation. So I'm not going to hold you up. I'll stop the video in here, and I'll get back once the installation process is finished. So what it's gonna do is now gonna install getting the files ready, and then install the file. And once it's finished it up, it will show us the status either as a success or failed, right? So by that time, you can go and have a cup of tea or lunch or dinner, and once you get back, we're gonna finish the installation process through this screen. All right, guys, you can see that that screen has finished some of its step, and it rebooted the machine. So during the installation, you're gonna see your virtual machine or guest operating system or guest machine is going to be rebooted a couple of times as part of the installation. So don't worry about the rebooting process. So because that's part of the installation. And now you can see the installation process has been completed. And now the installation file has been copied, installed, and now it is asking us a couple of settings that it needs to do or require as part of the installation process. So you can see the default username is administrator. I'm just going to give it a strong password so it's like it. Yeah. So you can see that password by clicking on the eye icon, and then we are going to hit finish. So that account administrator is the local administrator. So every operating system or every machine has a local administrator, and obviously the domain administrator. Domain administrator have a elevated account which has the rights to manage multiple devices on the network. However, the local administrator account, that is the powerful user account or I would say the super account, but within a single machine. So you can see this account which is mentioning in here is not coming with any domain. So that's why I'm considering as a local administrator. So the password which I'm giving it is the local administrator password, because later on if you want to log in as a local administrator account, we are going to use that password and this username, right? We can link this machine later to our domain network, and then our domain administrator can log in through the domain accounts over this machine, right? Which is a normal practice into corporate networks. But considering we only have one machine so far, so that's why we are not going towards that direction. But just to give you idea how the users or the security works on the server. So I think we are all good. Make sure that if you are installing it in your business or organization, don't share local administrator password with anyone, because that's the most powerful user on your machine. If the password has been compromised, so anyone can log in and do anything, and you might not be able to find who has done it until unless you go and spoof the IP address and all this kind of crazy thing, because anyone can use a generic administrator account name and do whatever they want to, and you might lose all the auditing, because it is all coming under the same account name. All right, so with this tip, we are hitting finish, because I do believe that's the only setting which is required. And now you can see the operating system has been installed, and I'm purposely using the word install, not configure, right? Because configuration is still pending, but at least we have the clean blank operating system. So let me go, and you can see the very first configuration that we need to do. The operating system resolution is not aligned with my screen. Like you can see, there's only I would say not half, but at least 3/4 of the screen was consumed. But on both sides, we have the edges which are not taken by the screen. So we'll fix it shortly. But now let me just put the Alt Control Del, and I'm ready to log in. And congratulations, we installed the operating system. Yeah, I'm going to allow this machine to be visible on my network. And you can see the server. Actually, let me see, for somehow I can't see the upper part of the, oh, sorry, because yeah, I have, yeah, I think now we can see. So we can manage the server from Windows Admin Center, which I'm not going to do now. We can see the server manager. I'm going to come towards the server manager shortly, once we have the requirement to install the web server or web roles on this machine, because we need it as a requirement for the SQL Server installation. But right now our server is pretty clean. There is only one issue that you can see: the server is not taking the full resolution. So as a first step, we are going to fix that. How we are going to fix it? Let me just click on the file system. Let me quickly show you the settings. So you can see we have the 99 gig which are available. So if you remember, I have selected 100 gig as my as a space for my guest operating system. So you can see the 100 gig has been allocated, right? You can see the Windows ISO file that I mounted with my virtual machine is now available as a DVD drive, right? So these are a couple of things, and let me quickly show you my computer name. It's a random name that has been generated. It is part of the work group, which we can change to the domain if we want to join this server to our existing domain. You can see the time is based on the US and Canada time zone. I'm just going to change it as well. Internet security configuration is enabled, and that open up a continuous security dialog box once you open the Internet Explorer, right? But we are not going to use Internet Explorer on this server. We prefer to use Edge or Chrome, right? So that's a very high level overview of our server. It looks quite healthy because we haven't seen any red flag in our server manager. So if there is any issue with the services, you're gonna see a red flag in here. So right now this flag is white, which is a good sign for us. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fix that resolution issue. So now how I'm going to do it, let me quickly go, and from the virtual machine menu, we if we go to device, we have the option insert guest edition. We need to install these guest edition to fix the resolution issue. So let me see if it can come in. I think I need to check this. Yeah. But somehow, because there's it already had a DVD in it, so that's why. Now you can see that because there was a DVD which was there, so that's why it was not mounting the guest edition source files. So now it's there. We can run it as an autoplay, and what I'm going to do, just to avoid the auto one, I'm just going to open it because that will then help me to run it as an administrator. Although I'm already logged in as an administrator, so that option doesn't make any difference, but just on the safe side, right? So you can see even it doesn't ask me that you want to run it as an admin because I'm logged in as an admin. So I'm just going to keep it on default location. Everything is good. Direct 3D sport, yeah, start entry. So that's part of the Oracle VirtualBox. We need to install it as part of configuring or building the virtual machine using Oracle VirtualBox. So I think we are all good. Let's reboot our machine, and once we come back, you're gonna see the virtual machine is going to consume the full screen. So let's see. Let's move to the other screen. Let me bring back in here. So far, it's not taking the screen, but don't worry, we are going to log in and then we'll see whether it's going to. I think now it's all good. Let me just. Still don't like it. Don't know why. Maybe. All right, so now it's all good. So now you can see it sometimes takes time. So keep in mind that sometimes it takes a while to adjust the resolution. Now you can see my virtual machine is taking the full screen, and it has been adjusted based on the resolution. If I just change the size, so you're gonna see the screen is not leaving any space on the sides. And what I can do, I can even go and do it in the full view. And now you can see I'm in a new operating system, which is within my host operating system. So it's a completely independent environment, and I can now do whatever I want, especially from the installation process, sorry, from the experiment process or the scenarios process which I want to execute based on my own learning. And once I'm done, I just need to remove this virtual machine or delete it, or I can recreate a new one. Even I'm going to show you how you can create a mount point, or how you can create a snapshot and restore from the snapshot once you want to start something different using the existing. That will also reduce your time. So that's pretty much it from the installation of the Windows operating system. From the server perspective, we have seen how we can install, how we can fix the very first issue, which is related to the resolution. In the next video, we're gonna see how we prepare the server for the SQL Server installation. But before that, we need to install a couple of additional software that will help us to to download the application. And obviously now you can understand we need to install the browser so that we can use it to download a couple of additional application. We are going to download the SQL Server installer so we can install the SQL Server, and then it will finish the first milestone where our database server is going to be ready to host all kind of database or data and analytics load. So hopefully everything makes sense so far. If you have any question, please write in the comments. More than happy to reply or answer. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'm gonna see you in the next video.